Boy howdy, Junker Queen nowadays is definitely a bit divisive. No matter what rank you go, everyone seems to have their own little opinion on this hog grind hodgepodge of a tank. In the Christmas spirit, and while we wait for Hazard to come out, we ask the question. So you wanna be a Junkenstein? So you wanna be a Junker Queen main? JQ is a bit of a special noodle who holds a special place in the hearts of Brawl players everywhere, being the dictionary definition of the archetype. You gotta swing, shoot, and chase anything that has a low health bar. JQ plays most similarly to Ron, the difference being, she exchanges his shield for the ability to run, and I mean run. She can move comically quickly and chases down her prey without any of the help that the old man needs to get going. But let's not spoil her kit so quickly. Let's get into her primary. Queen's shotgun is about as simple as you could expect. It's a basic shotgun that does way more than basic damage. As simple as it sounds on paper, there's a good bit of tech you can implement to enhance your play. One of the most classic plays that you can make with this is almost to treat your gun like a Reinhardt playing a corner. Pop the corner, shoot, hide. Pop the corner, shoot, hide. This helps minimize the amount of time that the enemy can blast down your health bar, as without the help of her shout, you'll be hurting sooner rather than later. But when the going gets tough, she has a few tools that she can fall back on, starting with the most annoying aspect of her kit for anyone not named Kiri. Bleed. Bleed is one of the few blessings that Blizzard bestowed upon our Kentuckerous Queen. This helps her not rely as heavily on supports, unlike the rest of her big-boned compatriots. By doing anything that's not a hop, shout, or a shot, JQ procs the enemy with a stats effect, which, similar to Pokemon's Leech Seed, heals you and annoys your enemy as they're forced to watch you live off their pain. This mechanic allows Queen to survive with minimal supervision from your supports, and lets you take way riskier plays. It can even let you get away with chasing the backline, like a dive character, assuming you're in lower rank or quick play, that is. Point is, you want to make sure that as many people as possible are afflicted with your curse, so meleeing as many close people as possible is often a good strategy. But let's say that the enemy is just out of reach and your craving for violence is especially high. Well, does Queen have a trick for you? With the simple press of a button, JQ will throw her knife into Narnia, hopefully, sticking anyone who's unlucky enough to be in its path. Once the knife finds its mark, you can press the button again to pull in your prey, similar to a hog hook, but with significantly less "get over here" energy. This handy-dandy little trick is best used when prey is just out of reach, or to pester those pesky backliners, as they want nothing to do with your blades or gun. Alternatively, you can use this as a surprisingly good tool to force people to back off. By lodging your knife in their forehead, you can often force someone to back up and wait for the knife's automatic release, which buys you and your teammates a couple seconds to finish off a low HP character, as a 5v4 is most preferable to a 5v5. There's definitely a ton of potential for a knife, as during the retrieval phase, it can proc bleed on anyone who touches it, which if played well could mean a bad HP check in your pocket. So get creative and try something fun. But that's enough of the small blades. Let's talk bigger, stronger, sharper. Let's talk about arguably the best blade in her kit. Let's talk about Carnage and her shout. Carnage is the name and game you'll come to know as a Junker Queen main, because despite having an edgier name than a 2010 Sonic OC, it lives up to its namesake. This blade does a whopping 105 damage on the initial hit, and an additional 40 in bleed, which can leave anyone either chunked or dead rather quickly. The best part about it is that if your enemies are clustered, you can hit them all and feed off that damage. JQ's Shout is the tool that will help you get there so you can hit that massive blade. By activating the single button, you gain an impressive 175 points of overhealth, give your teammates 50 overhealth, and give you and your teammates a 30% speed boost. For context, this is actually faster than Lucio's default speed boost, which can help you close the distance if there's no tomorrow. In a coordinated team, you can all in on their backline like you're playing dive, all thanks to this single button. I can't stress enough how strong of a tool this is. But let's get back to the general applications. Most of the time, you'll be using this to chase down low HP folk, or to charge at the backline and hopefully disrupt the enemy's supports and DPS. By doing this, you can create an opening for you or your team to pump out big DPS into whoever's unlucky enough to not be paying attention. There are times, however, where you should be saving this tool. For example, if you're poking the enemy while waiting for your team to come back from spawn, it is definitely worthwhile to keep your shout as a sort of get-out-of-jail-free card, as a death could result in another lost teamfight or having the clock run out on you, so be careful. But enough of that, I think it's high time that we talk about her ult. It's high time that we go on a rampage.
3, 2, 1, go!
JQ's ult is the team fight winning rampage. With a little bit of luck and an enemy team in the wings, you not only go flying through the enemy, dealing 40 damage straight, you also leave them with the inability to heal and a nasty bleed for 90 points. This may not sound like much on paper, but consider the fact that they can no longer heal, the Carnage does 105 damage plus an additional stack of bleed, and the fact that your shotgun's now point blank with their supports, you are far more likely to get your values rolled, and if worse comes to worse, you leave the enemy team as easy pickings for your teammates. This ult is truly some of the most fun you can have as Junker Queen, as watching the enemies scatter like a Scooby-Doo villain chase is some of the funniest crap I've seen in this game. The general play is to pop this ult down the main corridors of travel, and catch your opponents off guard, as in most lower ranks, everyone panics and adopts the, good luck chaps, I'm just going to retreat and die. Definitely die. Lastly, I'd like to cover counters, as like all the other characters in this series, she has her own host of bully-es and bully-ers. As far as JQ hard counters, you really only have a handful. Ana and Kiri will be the bane of your existence, as Sleep Dart and Nade will prevent you from either getting your bleeds off, or prevent you from healing from said bleeds. Meanwhile, Kiri can cleanse your bleeds and ult, leading to almost universally a team wipe if you get too aggressive. Ryan also directly hard counters JQ, as you want to play close, and who's the king of close quarters? Say it with me now. Reinhardt.
At your service.
Another troublesome matchup is against Doom. The Doomfist will see you going for your Carnage and then interrupt it with his punch. Same thing can happen with your ult. Dooms have an uncanny way of interrupting your playstyle and then using your bleed to charge their super fists, so be careful. As far as DPSs are concerned, snipers can give you a good bit of trouble if uncontested, as you have a fairly large head hitbox, so be careful there. Flyers can also be troublesome, as you have to catch them when they land, otherwise you'll be plumb out of luck when trying to deal with them. But for the main part, DPSs are just waiting to be munched on, so be ready. On that note, let's quickly cover who she counters. While being a bit more of a toss-up, Hog's huge hitbox and massive health pool guarantees that she'll have some form of extra healing. Not to mention the fact that her ult shuts down Hog, similar to an Ananade. Wintun is usually a shutdown, as if you can get a knife in him when he tries to jump in or out, he ends up getting nowhere and gets rolled. Not to mention that your high DPS will punch through his bubble and armor, so go bananas. Similar story with supports, but in general, the lower amount that they heal, the easier they will be to take down. So your Zens, minus Discord, and your Lucios, assuming you can catch him, are both fair game to your blade. Brig, if out of position, and without her ult, is also fair game, as Carnage passes straight through shields, and straight into the squishiness behind. And with that, I think that wraps everything about up. You should have a solid enough amount of information to get you started, so get out there you junkers and show the world who's its queen. If you don't mind, I'm just gonna sit back and watch you goblins get to work. Hey, post-editing Shimp here. First things first, I'd like to give a huge thank you to all those who made it this far. Most people by now probably would have clicked off, but you guys have made it through, and I just wanted to give you a big ol' thank you from the bottom of my heart. Secondly, I'd like to officially announce the relaunching of all my streaming stuff. You can catch me live over on Twitch, or I'll be live right at home here on YouTube. So check me out if you got some free time to kill. Thirdly, I'd like to apologize for how late this video is. My original rig for doing this whole YouTube thing actually ended up kicking the bucket, so I've just been trying to scramble to get something back up and working, because I just love doing this so much, and it's just been a hassle. Regardless, it's up and running now, and I'm just glad that we're all good. Hopefully I'll be able to post more often, but, you know. No commitment there. Anyways, that's enough of me rambling. Feel free to leave me a like, a comment, a sub, or whatever else the other YouTubers tell you to do. Y'all have been wonderful, and I just wanted to give you a big ol' thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope you guys have a great day.